Hi friends, it's Anita and I am not live, but I am pre-recording this on StreamYard. Hopefully this will be okay. I hope the color is not blowing out. But these are the three colors that I'm going to use. I'm going to also use this one piece eyeball. I'll also need I'll need a little bit of stuffing, which is this. I have a whole bag full. And we're going to go ahead and bust out, let's try, let's see what size is. We're going to use the 3.5 hook. You see that it's blowing out. Anyway, I'm going to try my best to work this up with you guys on here. And I'm going to use a combination of two patterns that I've done before, which is the snowman's hat of the snowman pouch. So we'll start with the hat, and I'm going to start with red for the hat. I'm going to put the green to the side, and with a magic circle you will just single crochet 4, and hopefully you guys can follow along with me without any issues. Now I am on a one of those fold away tables, so hopefully it doesn't shake too much. So we're gonna do a double, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm gonna try to just work this up without having to edit it, so bear with me if you hear any doggy toes. They should be all asleep by now. Alright, so there is your row 1. 4 single crochets in a magic circle. I'm going to go to row 2. Row 2 is going to be a single crochet and an increase, a single crochet in the first stitch, and I'm going to carry this hill. So that's 1, and then an increase in the next stitch, which is 2 and 3, Alright, the next stitch is stitch number 4, which is just a 1 single crochet. Make sure I get in both loops. This is why I'm a bad tutorial maker. So bear with me, guys. And then the last stitch is going to be 5 and 6. So then you just kind of pop that out. And I like to just wiggle it so it can come out just at the little point. Now, you're going to have this long tail, which you can either use it as stuffing. What I like to do is use it as my stitch marker, just going back and forth, back and forth. So we're on row 3 now. Let me change it. And row 3 is just an increase in each stitch. So that's 2 single crochets in each of the next 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last stitch. 11 and 12. There you have it, row 3. And kind of just wiggle it again, just to pop out that stitch. And you should have a little triangle. Okay, so take your stitch marker and bring it forward. And then we're going to go to row 4. Row 4, you'll still end with 12 stitches, but we're just going to do things a little bit different so it can kind of start to curve. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch. Then we're going to increase, which is 2 and 3. Now we're going to do 5 single crochets. So 1 single crochet in the next 5. Okay, so next stitch is going to be increase. So you're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So that's 1, 2. Now we're going to do a decrease. Oh, nope, sorry. I messed that up. You should have did decrease. So we did a single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're gonna decrease, which is just putting through the first front loops. So that's 9. I'm gonna increase 10, 11, and then one last stitch is a decrease. And that'll give you 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I must have missed somewhere. We're just gonna budget and put a single crochet in there. That's 12. As long as you get 12 stitches, you should be okay. I'm gonna move on to row 5, which is row 5 is a single crochet and then 3 increases. So that's 2 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you should have 8 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's your stitch. We'll flip it over. Next row is 6, and you're going to do just 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you should have 15. Alright, so row 6 is complete. I'm going to go to row 7. Okay, so row 7 is going to be your last row of the hat. So you're going to do 1 single crochet, and then you're going to do 3 single crochets in the next stitches. 3 increases in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so the next set of instructions are going to be 11 single crochet in the next 11. 1, stitch is 11. Alright, so now what you're going to do is just single crochet in the next 18 stitches. So 1 single crochets in each of the next stitches. Alright, so with this, you're going to go ahead and fasten off. Oops. So you're done with the red. But you're going to go ahead and switch over to the white. And what I'd like to do for the color change is basically these 2 stitches here. Pull that out a little bit and stick your hook in between those stitches, and then pull the next color through. Okay, and then just pull this the red through. So now you're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I'm just going to flip this over. Actually, I'm not going to use this tail anymore because that's going to mess me up. So I'm going to actually just get a little piece of yarn. Actually, here, I have one here. We'll use this as the tail or the stitch marker. So all 3 tails I'm just going to carry. Alright, so you came out of that one. I'm going to go in the next stitch and do 18 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Okay, so with the red, since it's longer than I need, I'm just going to stick it back in the hole. This part of the stuffing. And just keep going till you get to 18 single crochets. Okay, that's 18. And you're gonna flip this over. And now what you're gonna do is just single crochet 1 in the front loop only. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and the last stitch is 18. Okay, so now you have your hat completed. We're gonna go ahead and fasten off. And just cut it. And you can take your stitch marker out too, because you'll use that a little bit later. I'm going to get my needle and I'm going to do an invisible join or slip stitch, whatever you want to call it. Basically, you're going to skip the first stitch, which is this one, and go into the next stitch underneath both. And then you're going to take this tail where it's coming out of, you just go in the back loop. And that made a little bee. You probably can't see because it's blown up. Anyway, take this tail and basically you're going to kind of fold up the hat. And just single crochet back through. Now, had you put a longer tail, you could actually come back up the top like that and make a little like pom-pom something. Yeah, we'll just leave it like right there for right now. But if you would have left a longer tail, you could make a little pom-pom come up there. Anyway, long story short, you are done with your hat. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the next section. And basically, that's what your hat should look like. Okay. Now let's go to so we left off. Took me 25 minutes to make this little hat. So the next step is you can basically join anywhere because this is what the hat looks like. We're going to go ahead and work her body with the green. Move all this out of the way. Okay, find the beginning. All right, so you are going to join here. Now, the only thing is you have to be aware of is that you want to go from the left to the right. So because you slip stitch here, you just want to join anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and do a slip stitch and then do a standing single crochet. And you just want to go in the back loops of each of these stitches. And just single crochet in each one. And I'm carrying that tail with me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm having a hard time, so just bear with me. Just single crochet in each stitch. Eight, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and the last stitch here is 18. Okay, and what you're going to do is join to that first single crochet. That's the only time you're going to join. The rest of the time we're just doing just in the round. So now what you're going to do is we're going to start to ignore the numbers of what's on the screen row wise, because we're technically working up the next row. It's going to say 4, but honestly I don't remember what row we're on. But what you're going to do, and I'm going to use this tail as a stitch marker. So we just slip stitch in that one. We're going to actually single crochet in that. So that's 1. And the next one, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now the next stitch you're going to do is going to be a bobble. And basically you can do a bobble any kind of way you want. You can do it as a bean stitch. You can do it as a like a incomplete single crochet like 5 times, but we're just gonna keep it simple. We're gonna do a mini bean stitch. So you go in the loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in the loop again, pull up a loop, and you should have 4 stitches, and then it'll look like that. If you want it to be more, you can do more, whichever one you want. So you just stick with it however you do the bobble. So next you're going to do 12 single crochets. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and right where we slip stitch, I'm going to add 1 there. So that's 12. Okay. So now, actually, I'm going to use, where's that brown at? Did I lose it? Oh, here. I'm going to use this as my stitch marker now. And I'm just going to crochet over that tail so that I don't have to sew anything. So the next row, and again, ignore number 5, but this is what you're going to do. 16 single crochets. So this is a stitch. It's kind of tight because we kind of slip stitch in it. So that's 1. Come on. The next stitch is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then you're going to do a bobble, which was just the 1, 2, and that was 4 stitches on your loop, chain 1, or pull through a 4, and then just single crochet. So that is row, the next row. Now we're going to flip this over because we're using this as our stitch marker. The next row is pretty simple. You're just going to anchor everything down with 1 single crochet in each stitch. Mm, 17. This last stitch is 18. All right, so I'm going to flip that over. Next set of instructions is going to be that one. Which is an increase in the first stitch. And then you're going to do 8 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you're going to do a decrease. And then you're going to do 7 single crochets in the next stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last stitch, which is where we're at, that's 7. Alright, so the next row is going to be kind of similar to the single crochets and bobbles. So every row should have 18 stitches, but for this one we're going to do 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to do a bobble, which these bobbles are not big enough for my liking, but I'm going to go ahead and just make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go in 1, 2, 3, one more, 4, and then you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's more. Just so it looks like a wart. And then you're going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 8. Right, and then you can just kind of pop it out on the other side. Okay, so while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and kind of flip it over to the front. Really, it could be any side. I'm going to kind of, this is supposed to curl up a little bit, but regardless, we're going to go ahead and add the eyes, and anywhere really. We'll just poke it through. And we're going to put the back on. I'm going to use the table, so bear with me if you shake. That doesn't work, so I got this. Just push it down. And that locks it in place. Look at, he already looks all confused. Okay, and if you want to, you can kind of start stuffing it now, which I'm going to do just a little bit. And as for the hat, you don't have to stuff it too much, just because you kind of want it to curve a little bit. Just a little bit, not too much. Kind of looks like a frog. Those eyes. And you can actually have the eyes going that way, but I like him looking worried. He's like, okay. These eyes are everything. And I got those off of Amazon. Not sponsored, guys. So, now that we finished that row, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next row. Which is one single crochet and increase, 8 single crochets, seven, and right on top of that bobble is 8. And we're going to do a decrease, which is the front loops of the next 2 stitches. That kind of makes that pop out even more. And then we'll do 6 single crochets in the next stitches. So and last stitch is 6. There you have it. So the next thing that I like to add, just to give it a little more pizzazz, is, and the leftover yarn you had up here, you could definitely use that, but I'm just going to cut a little piece of this red. Just about that long. What is that? 12 inches. And basically what I do is I just fold it in half, feed it through the needle, and you're going to add cheeks to this little guy. Just right underneath the eyes. Just hold on to this. So go in one side and out the same side you came out of. So that's one. Do it again one more time. And then you're going to come all the way over to the next eye. Just go out of one side. Don't pull it too tight. Oh. Let it go back in. One more time. And just go right back in that same hole. And then come back out to the side with the other end. And what I like to do is just tie them together. a simple knot. Okay. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. If you want, you can always even it out. There you go. And then I might use this brown to do a little mouth. I have a long enough tail that I could possibly do that. I'm actually going to just take it and go in between the eyes and the mouth and pull through one side. If it's easier to put it on the needle, you can do that too. Oh, this is a sparkly yarn. Okay. I'm just going to tail these two together. Tie these two together. Nothing fancy. But again, you don't even have to add these features. It looks kind of funny, but that is my face on this little guy. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and fix his cheeks because I can still see the green. Pull it out some. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and finish off. Whatever you have left over, just stuff it inside. As your tail. Sorry. That's the stuffing. Oh, I hope I didn't tie it to the long tail. Let me see. Okay, I didn't. So just stuff those back in. Hold on to that one though, because we don't want to stuff that. Alright, he's looking a little deflated right now, but you want to keep your stitches tight. Okay, so the next row, we are going to go ahead and pick that back up. We're just using this tail as a stitch marker. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do 6 single crochets and then a bobble. And then because I want a little bit bigger, I'm just going to do it 5 times. So go in 1, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 3, yarn over, 4. 4 times, good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 4 times is good enough for me. And just make sure you kind of like poke it through. And then we're going to do 7 single crochets. Remember, you're not going in that stitch you just came out of, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, you just go back and pop that one back out. And then we're going to do one more bobble. So go in the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yarn over and pull through all 4. And he's going to have like a chin there. So then we're going to go ahead and do 3 single crochets in the last stitch, 1, 2, and 3. And the next row, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1, 2. We're going to increase in the next stitch, 1, 2. Then when it's 8 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to decrease. And then 5 single crochets in the next stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. Last stitch is 5. Okay. Flip that over for the next row. we're going to go ahead and do 1 single crochet, 1, and then we're going to do a bobble. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over and pull through all 4. I mean all 8. Should be 8 stitches. And then we're going to single crochet 16. 1, and just pop that out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13. Okay, so that should be 18. There was an avalanche. Okay, next row, I'm gonna bring the yarn to the front. Three single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Increase. 1, 2, 8 single crochets. I'm going to decrease. And then 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Last stitch is 4. And he should start to turn a little bit, or curve a little bit here. Next row, 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to do a bobble. Let's insert 1, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 3, yarn over, 4. Just pull through all, kind of pop it out, and then do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another bobble. Like I said, if you don't like them this big, you can go back down to the 3, just enough for it to have a little texture. It really is your preference. So we're going to go ahead and add another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that bobble and 7 in the next one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and last stitch is 7. Alright, so I'm going to do one more row of increases and decreases. So we're going to go 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to increase 1, 2. I'm going to do 8 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8. I'm going to decrease just the first 2 loops of the next 2 stitches, single crochet, and then single crochet 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out because my tail is shorter since I used it for the mouth. And I'm going to start stuffing it a little bit more too. Not a lot, just enough. Just a little handful at a time. And as you stuff, kind of wiggle it around so I can tell it needs more there. Not too much to where you can see it. That's where it's rolling it out kind of helps that spread out a little bit more. So it's kind of like an X for a mouth. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and do 18 single crochets in the next 2 rounds. So we're gonna do 18. Okay. 18. Next row is the same thing. 17. Last stitch is 18. Okay, so now what you're going to do is stuff. I'm going to take this stitch marker out. Stuff it as much as you can without it showing through the yarn. And I forgot to tell you guys, this is a DK weight yarn that I'm using with a 3.5 millimeter hook. But if you want to use any other yarns, you can. In these colors, you know, red, green, and white. You only need a tiny little bit of the white. Might have stuffed them a little too much, but you want to go. I'm going to try it. It's okay, it's coming out because once you finish this little guy, it'll kind of look like that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up row. The last row is going to be a single crochet and a decrease to bring it back down to 12. You can use this stitch marker if you need to. Alright, so that is row, the second to the last row. The last row you're going to do is a decrease. And at this point, I'm just going to count. And it's going to be basically, see how it's kind of holy there? That means I put too much stuffing, but we'll fix it. And now you're going to do 6 decreases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright. I'm going to cut a little bit longer tail. That way I can just sew up any loose ends if I need to. That might have been too long, but we'll see. So just spread up the okay. There's a little guy. We're going to close up this end and we're going to do surgery on these holes that he has, which is basically just sewing it shut. And when you sew it, you just go through the front loops of each stitch. Okay, and kind of hold it tight and pull. Here we go. And just go back and forth. And anywhere you see a hole, just clean it up. Especially right here. Might have been better to go down to a smaller hook size too. We're just sewing shut any holes that you see. Just to clean it up. This project usually is better in like a 4-weight. But because I have these cool colors from Dawn that I got from the Halloween mystery box, I figured it'd be great to use for a pickle. So this is my day 3 crochet project of December. So I didn't intend to do a vlogmas, but I guess this is kind of like a vlogmas. Oh wow, this is a lot of holes. So that is it. If you want, like I said, just gonna make a loop on the top to make a hook. That's a lot of surgery on one little pickle. Actually, this tail, I believe, might be long enough for me to, oh, look at all that I missed. Actually, no. I want to clean this up because this is pathetic. I don't like that. So just kind of sew it back and forth and close up all these holes. I didn't realize I had too many holes. But then again, it's probably overstuffed. I'm going to take this tail and bring it all the way up to the top. Actually gonna cut this white off. I'm gonna take this tail and I'm just gonna do a chain 10. So basically, because I came out that hole, I'm gonna go in this hole and pull this yarn through to bring up a loop, and then I'm gonna chain 10. Well, 6, because that's all that's left to me. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it does. Okay, there's enough for 10. So then I'm gonna slip stitch back in this stitch that it came out of. Oh, if you don't have enough, then just take it and use the needle. Don't split the yarn though. And just take your needle and feed it through both sections. And just do whatever you can just to get it tied in there. I'm just gonna knot it there. Or use that as my little door hanger. And then I'm just gonna feed it back down. Come up one end. And if you hang this on your tree, you won't notice this too much. So that is the finished object for this 3rd day of December. Just cut all my ends here. And it's not perfect, but you know what? It'll do. These eyes are everything though. So there you have it. Enjoy yourself. And remember, life isn't always bread and butter. So this pickle is here to help you deal with all that life throws at you. Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching. And I want to see your pickle if you make one for Christmas. Take care. Bye.